Hey everyone, it's Dr. Froutan back once again to dispel some rumors or myths about COVID. This time we're going to be talking about vaccines since Pfizer and Moderna have come out with announcements that they have created new vaccines that are 95% effective. So before we begin, hope you like the haircut or lack thereof. This is my COVID protest haircut. Haven't been cut since February because it's still not safe. So I'm trying to teach by doing, right? Is that how it works? Or teach by example? There you go. So nice and afro-y now. So what we're talking about today are a new kind of vaccine called an mRNA or messenger RNA vaccine. The way we used to make vaccines for the last 70 or so years is one of two ways. Either we've taken something like a virus that we're trying to make the vaccine for, and we kill it, usually by overheating it to the point where it can't survive, then injecting that into our bodies. What that does is it lets our immune system see the virus and ready itself for a future infection without risk of being infected by what we just put in your body. The other way is that scientists can find special proteins that only exist on the virus that we're looking at, and then use genetic codes and science to get bacteria to make those proteins for us. Then we can concentrate them down, put them into shots, and give them to you, and then poof, your immune system will recognize that specific protein and then can defend you against anything that has that protein on it, usually just the one infection or virus that we're targeting. Both processes are extremely difficult and take a lot to keep safe. You know, if you don't kill every last bit of the virus before you inject it, you're going to actually infect the person, you know, or concentrating the proteins is very complicated and expensive, so, and time consuming. So what we've created now as scientists and medical professionals is an mRNA vaccine. So what mRNA is a little bit of genetic material or genetic code that your cells use to make proteins with. All the proteins in your body are actually made using mRNA. So what scientists have done is created a small little piece of mRNA that will show your cells how to make one very specific protein. That's it. So we get that into you and your cells read it like an IKEA instruction manual and are like, oh, this is how we make this protein. Once the protein is made, the mRNA is so delicate and so sensitive that it just breaks up and is gone, is worthless. But because you've already made the protein, the other cells in your immune system can then recognize that protein and you're vaccinated. Your body then is ready to fight an infection that has that protein on it. Simple. We've taken out the work of harvesting a virus or harvesting a specific protein, concentrating it, putting it into shots. We literally just do one small step and your body gets to do the rest. People have been saying that this vaccine is going to alter your DNA, and they only say that because they're idiots. So people hear genetic material and think, oh, my genes, me, everything about me. It doesn't work that way. mRNA can't actually even get into the part of your cell that deals with your DNA and your genetic code. Even if it did, which it can't, nothing could happen because there's nothing in that part of your cell that knows how to even read mRNA. And it's so delicate that it just breaks apart anyway. Finally, DNA, which is what our genetic code is made of, and mRNA are not even compatible. So you can't have like, oh, well, something slipped in there and just kind of laid on top and boop. No, it doesn't work that way. So you don't have to worry about these things. It is completely safe from a genetic standpoint. Now, whether or not there are going to be side effects from this vaccine, we're not sure yet. Most vaccines take a decade to test, create, all of it. We've done this in less than 1 year with 2 different vaccines from 2 different companies. So there's a lot of research that still is going to need to be done to see if there are any long-term side effects of these vaccines. But given how desperately we need them, we're considering the risk to be worth it right now because, let's face it, we want to get back to normal. We could get into the hardcore science of how DNA becomes mRNA, becomes protein, but go read a book. Okay? We're just trying to keep this simple for everybody. Whether or not these are super effective, particularly these two vaccines, is a discussion for another day. But hopefully now you understand that from a genetic and chromosome and gene standpoint, these vaccines are completely safe, and anyone who tells you otherwise is stupid. So, hopefully you've learned something new and you have one more weapon in your arsenal so that if you have an argument at Thanksgiving, you can win it. Nonetheless, hopefully you have enough information now that you can avoid the argument altogether. Now you know.